We're back now, and I drew the little rifle out. It's very crude, but I don't want anything extremely, it's 3 inches instead of 2.5. So I can always cut the barrel off or whatever. And it's cut out of it's out of a 1/2 inch basswood. So basically it's just pretty basic as you begin to take from each side. You can now what if you're new to carving, you can draw what's called a center line. A center line on this thing. And so as you go from each side, you know about how much you're taking off. So you kind of, because what the basis is on the barrel is we're going to kind of round the barrel off. So I just basically go from side to side with a piece. Now you want to be careful, okay? You want to be careful because now one of the things I want to tell you is when you do cut this out or whatever, you want the grain to be running this way, the lengthways of the rifle, and so you want that to be. And then basically it's just taking slivers of it off, bringing it down, kind of shaping it is what you do. Okay. This doesn't have to be extremely detailed in such a way. It's just a little rifle that he's carrying. Just trying to get and you have to get it thin enough where it will be able to, you'll be able to drill a hole and it will be able to go in his hand. Okay? So you have to get it down small enough, which means that we're got to get it down pretty small. Okay? In that sense. Now this stock is of course too long, but the stock kind of goes like this on each side. Kind of has a curvature type thing like that. And knock that off right there. So we're just sort of coming from each side and making a little rifle. And watch your grain here. Watch your grain, watch your grain, watch your grain. And as you get closer and closer down to where you want it, you want to watch now and be careful because you're going to be getting this thing pretty thin. Watch your grain because your grain changes a lot on this thing. See how it does that? And then I have to come here and take some off. So watch your grain. Okay. Now this is a little bit too high right here. Don't want it coming up quite that high. There we go. And you just kind of hold it like this and go from side to side. Just making your little rifle here. And the barrel is just basically a round dowel type looking thing. We're not going to put a trigger. I've made, you know, when they're this small a figure, you don't need to try to go for great detail and everything like that. You just want to bring it down. See that? So when you get these small figures, you're not going for a great detail on you know, on the rifle. It's gonna look all right. But you're gonna have to bring it down pretty small to fit in his hand, to drill a hole to fit in his hand. So you see how I drag the knife? And if we look at it here, it'll be something very similar to this. Just resembles a rifle. See how I'm just dragging it? It's coming toward my finger, but I'm dragging it so slowly that I'm not going to cut myself, even if my finger meets with the blade. See? If you just watch, see, it's going to touch. It can touch my finger just like that, but it doesn't touch it. It touches it lightly, where it's not going to cut it. Okay? Say, well, your knife's not sharp. Oh yeah, it's sharp. Yes, it is. That's what I'm saying. You just slowly bring this down. You see, it's where it's going to just sort of. Now this is a little bit too high up here. I want to bring that down just a little bit. Good. Bring that down. It just sort of brings it. Lowers it right there. Okay. And this needs to be lowered a little bit right here. Shaped a little bit. Okay. This all needs to even come back down some more as we, especially on the barrel here, because only a certain portion of this anyway is going to go into his hand. But we want to get it thin enough, just like we're doing. Say the knife's not sharp enough, it wouldn't be able to curl. The knife wasn't sharp enough, it wouldn't be able to curl like this easily through that basswood. It'd tear. You've got a good knife, you know how to keep it sharp. It's gonna be your friend. If you've got a dull knife or trying to carve with something that you shouldn't be able to carve with, it's not going to be your friend. And you're going to get hurt with it. And I think that's always the thing. I started off with good knives. I started off with well-made knives. It took them a little while to learn to sharpen, but if you got a good blade and all that other stuff, it comes along real well. Okay. Now let's come down even more on this barrel. Now we're getting it down. We're getting it down good there. Let's come down a little bit more. Let it kind of bring it up in there. Just like that. Bring it up. All right, now what we're going to do is next we're gonna drill his hand, and we're gonna work with getting that knife. Let me get that knife. That barrel in his hand. Okay. And you could have work as that with the thing. Okay? All right, we'll do that next.